Welcome back to the Stan Simpson Show. Our topic is Hartford's future and restoring trust at City Hall, joined by two councilmen, Cotto and Kendi. Let's talk about the mayor-in-waiting, Pedro Segarra, council president, a longtime Hartford guy. Your thoughts. What can he do? What does he bring to the table?
Former corporation counsel.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have a lot of respect for Pedro. I think he's a brilliant lawyer. Very good man. I expect he will be an excellent mayor. I think he'll be very open with government. He's a consensus builder. He really doesn't come already with a form opinion. He really does seek input, and he'll even change his mind based on the input, which I think is very refreshing. It's why he became leader of the council.
Luis?
I'll echo that. He's a consensus builder, and he, as someone from the other side of the aisle, and he's just the perfect person for this time. And I can't say that this wasn't unanticipated. And we thought about that when we chose him as president, and he's leaving a big void.
Now, what I know about Pedro Segarra is that he will get the trains on time. He will run an efficient government. The question I have is he a visionary? Is he a guy who will come up with great ideas, or is he a guy who simply will execute ideas as brought to him?
I think don't sell him short. I think Pedro may be. I think he may have the vision thing that George Bush used to always complain about when he was president. He does see things in the future. He does think about what the implications are, and I think he will come up with a broad plan for the city once he becomes mayor.
But keep in mind that unlike newly elected leaders who come in on a January and have to go through the budget process and install their vision through that budget process, we've gone through the budget process, and the budget process was heavily, it was the mayor's initiative, and the mayor and what he would like to see. So we still have budgetary constraints, and he might want to, paint the town red, but we have the money to just do what we've approved.
But you might see some more radical approaches to the budget in terms of, since Pedro's always been very cost conscious, OMB chair. I would not be surprised if there's some things that he's
OMB being the
operations management budget committee.
Okay.
I think he will scale back some things in government that maybe he's advocated for as a council person, and that may come with some additional savings and be able to then use that to enhance any vision that he has.
You all as council people, what role do you play? Let's be honest, the history of Hartford has been a very fractured council, politically charged council. You've got a mayor probably going to jail right now. To what degree does the council now say, ladies and gentlemen, let's try to work together really for the city? We all know the history of the council. To what degree do you all feel accountable to get your acts together? There's a lot of negative stereotypes about Hartford, its leadership. You're on the council. Speak to me about it.
One good example, I just came from a leadership meeting where Eddie Perez, Pedro Segarra, myself, and Arjo Wench and Jim Boucher were sitting around talking about...
This is after conviction or
this
before?
Excuse me, after... What did you say?
Is it after the conviction?
After.
Yes.
After,
yes.
okay.
And talking about the exit strategy.
Okay.
And what a list of 50 things that we need to start looking at.
Well, having started this, so you were in a meeting with Mr. Perez post-conviction.
Post-conviction.
What was he like? That's pretty. Tell me what his body language was like, and we'll get into your point.
And that's why I mentioned earlier that the emotion is gone now. Now it's this transition mode.
Well, hang on one second. We have about 2 minutes left. Tell me what he was like, because this is very important. You were in the room with Eddie Perez post-conviction. What was he like? Emotional? Business-like? Walk me through it.
Business-like, very strong, very let's get to business, still running the meeting and saying, Pedro, what do you need? What are your priorities? We have this list. We can go over everything, or we can go over whatever you feel. And his strategy was, and his attitude was very much, we know what's going to happen, and we've already set the tables in motion. What's going to make it easier for you to take the mantle? Did
he apologize? Any emotion? And how did the council, those players in the meeting, how did they react to him? They hug him, shake his hand, give me some feedback.
Keep in mind, this is the third or fourth meeting post-conviction.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one, a lot more emotional. And then once all the hard decisions had to be made, and once all the emotion was out on the table, and again hugs and because again we're dealing with another human being here. Now we are at the juncture of just moving forward, and what does Pedro need to be? But I mention it because we didn't need to be there. Pedro could have easily said, "This is going to be my show. I need to run this," and he had us in there as leadership saying, Luis, what do you think regarding Parks and Rec, the Green Ribbon Task Force? What?
Perez saying this.
This is Pedro.
Pedro saying
this
it.
Is Pedro. So this points to the type of leadership. This points to the type of mayor he's going to be, and I look forward to this next phase.
30 seconds. Let's talk about crime real quick. You have hot button issues: crime, education, jobs. Any changes in the police chief and crime? Whenever there's a new mayor, you have to look at the police chief, schools superintendent. Crime real quick.
I think those are all decisions for Mayor Segarra to make. He has to be given the same opportunity that Mayor Perez was with respect to making his own staff.
Is Darrell Roberts in trouble, police chief?
I would not think so. Darrell's done an excellent job as police chief. I'm supportive of Darrell as police chief. But again, those are the decisions for Mayor Segarra. I believe he would come back to the council and discuss anything in terms of any major changes.
30 seconds. Schools chief Adamowski, he's also there. Any change with the schools, the vision and direction?
Adamowski's contract, I believe, is up for another year, and the main question now is once the mayor resigns as a member of the Board of Education, if you remember, he's still a member there, what will Pedro do to replace that spot? I've suggested that he get a small committee together of parents and Board of Ed members and even the City Council education people to decide on that person. But if he feels comfortable with someone, we stand ready to support that.
15 seconds. What do you do now about getting revenue? This is a city that's in deep debt with nothing there for the future. How do you create some new, fresh revenue to get the city going again?
Hard question. I don't think there's
biggest
any
question
answers.
right now, right? For you guys.
There's no easy answer to that question. You have to figure out maybe we can get the 6 pillars alive downtown on Front Street. That has to occur. And then we also have to do with the Civic Center.
Okay, got to run, guys. Got to head back on. I want to thank our guests, Michael Giorgetti, Jim Bergen, Luis Cotto, Ken Kennedy. You can send your show comments or requests or even watch us again at ctnow.com and friend us on Facebook. Become a fan of the Stan Simpson Show. We're on Twitter, too. Look out for our tweets. Lori Perez and The Real Story are next for the good folks here at Fox 61. I'm Stan Simpson. We'll see you next week.